Hello and welcome to our LNG Connect studio at Gastech 2023. I'm delighted to have sitting next to me Andy Elliott, President ExxonMobil LNG Asia Pacific, or EMLAP. Thank you so much for joining me, Andy.
Thank you for having me.
Now, to start off, could you just tell the audience a bit more about what EMLAP actually is, and then also your sort of outlook for the gas and LNG market?
Absolutely. So yes, EMLAP, when you say it in its full form, is a bit of a mouthful. But in short, we look after the global equity marketing and supply for the ExxonMobil portfolio. And so if you think about our existing operations, we look after everything that's essentially outside of Papua New Guinea LNG and also Qatar. So the second part in terms of the outlook for LNG and what we're doing here in Singapore, we are extremely optimistic about the role of natural gas, not just within Asia Pacific, but of course globally. Asia Pacific is one of the key demand centres for LNG, which is really why we are based here in Singapore. So we're very pleased to be hosting Gastech this year on our home turf. But there is significant demand for LNG going forward fundamentally as a replacement for coal. And obviously there are benefits that come with that from a greenhouse gas emission standpoint. But also as population grows, as people get used to new source of energy, then obviously the demand for LNG and other sources of energy grows.
Absolutely, Andy. And with that growth, how are you approaching the current market, which obviously growing in demand, then that sort of stipulates what you're doing?
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years. Obviously, we've seen a lot of volatility over the last arguably 2 years. But what that has done is it's driven a lot of end consumers really into more of the long-term contracts, which is fundamentally what we do. And so there's been a lot of appetite for what we're selling in LNG, and a lot of appetite for the energy security that a long-term contract can bring, and not just from a supply stability standpoint, but also from a pricing stability standpoint, because we've seen some pretty high numbers over the last couple of years.
Yes, and you have a big presence here.
We do.
Just tell me a bit more about what ExxonMobil's LNG team's presence at Gastech is.
Yeah, sure, certainly. So we have our main base is here. We work very closely with our short-term team. So those are the folks who really work more in the spot market. But we get a lot of support from our analytics groups, from our operations, and of course our shipping organizations, all based here. We all sit together here in Singapore. And it's great to be able to bring the full presence of the LNG organization here to the conference. But it's not just LNG. We work very closely with our low carbon solutions organization, and we're very well integrated with that organization, looking to meet the demands of our customers going forward.
Finally, Andy, before we go, we mentioned it, we're here in Singapore for Gastech. What's the importance of having Gastech coming back to Singapore?
It's fabulous to be here. I only moved to Singapore in January of this year, so I'm still very new to the country. But it is the hub for LNG in Asia Pacific, and so it's great to be able to host Gastech here. Singapore as a city is a very vibrant, very exciting city. So outside of the conference, there's a lot to do, and most importantly, a lot of good places to go and eat.
Absolutely, Andy, and I experienced that last night. Just want to thank you for popping down to the Energy Connect studio.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks everyone for watching, and I look forward to bringing you more studio interviews from the show floor in the coming days.